Morning. How you doing? Welcome back to VeggiePlot. I thought the plot today got quite a lot to harvest, so we're going to be heading over and picking some dwarf French beans and some kale and other bits and bobs and so on and so forth. But I've also got some stuff that needs planting, which I brought up with me. So I planted sowed so many antirrhinum seeds at the beginning of the year that were just inundated. So I've got to go and squeeze these all in on the allotment. I've got some more in the car. I've got some leeks to go in if I have time. Not sure if that's going to be possible today, but they're Musselburgh leeks. And then I've got one or two everlasting spinach or perpetual spinach, which I've got no room for at home either. So right, let's put these over here, I get the others out of the car, and then I'll see you on the allotment and we'll do some harvesting. I thought we'd just have a quick look what's going on the plot before we get going. These lovely Crown Prince squash coming in now. What I should do with these actually, I like to prevent them from getting all really scratched up. So what I do is bring the secateurs and just take off any leaves that might touch them and any stalks, because they're actually quite scratchy. I don't know if you've grown them before, you're bound to have grown sort of squash, but yeah, they get quite scratchy, don't they? So they can damage the fruit, the soft skin of the new fruit. So I like to nip all that off. Also lets the sun get to them, which I think is beneficial for their ripening when the time comes, but they're not ready to ripen up yet. That's doing okay, that one. So I've got a few others in here. I think there are about 8 or so in there, but I'm not going to do all those now. I'll do them a bit later. Right, I thought we'd have a quick look at what's going on over here. The peas, which I showed in the last video, if you've seen that one. So they're beginning, they're okay. No pheasant attacks yet, which is nice. And the French beans, as I thought, they're out on sort of north-facing walls for a couple of weeks beforehand to harden off, but they always take this little bit of a battering when they come outside, but they're okay. Tips are okay, they'll be all right. Just got to give them a couple of weeks to get going, I think. Right, all the beans are doing okay. These are the runners, taking their time to get up the poles and flower, but they're getting there. I want to clear out the beans today. That's the next thing. Get the antirrhinums in there, and then all the cauliflowers are looking good. Cavolo Nero kale's okay. All the broccoli. Oh, French beans. Yeah, this is what I want to harvest. There are lots of French beans to harvest. They're looking really nice. And I was also going to take a couple of sunflowers from the flower patch and some peas over that side. So there's a fair bit to do today. So let's crack on. Right, let's just put those down there. Yeah, as I said, these are apple blossom, bronze and lipstick silver antirrhinums. They're quite special, I believe, or so the website said. I'll put up where I got them from. But the interesting thing about them is, a couple of things, because I've never grown them before, is the seeds were like dust. If you've grown them before, you'll know that. Yeah, but they're absolutely tiny, really, really tiny, just like dust. And I just sprinkled them on the compost, because they don't need compost on top of them either. They just need the light to get to them, and they germinated. And the other interesting thing about them is that they need some cold before they will germinate. It's like they need to go through a winter, a fake winter even. And so I had the seeds in the fridge for about 6 months beforehand in their packets and so on. But yeah, seems to have done the job. Right, they were planted on the 16th of April this year, sown on the 16th of April. And there's a bit of a mix here, so I'm just going to put them all in and then we'll use them as cut flowers for home. Right, I'm just going to get on with this. I'll get back to you when they're done. Right, this is the last 2 of these going in, which is great. See the roots? Not massively strong, are they? It's interesting. I kind of thought that they would be, well away by now, but Maybe it's just in their nature to be a bit slow. Who knows? Anyway, right. Let's get this last one in. Great, now I'll just get some water and water them in. Right, that's all those watered. What I want to do now is, you remember last week I left some of these broad beans in, so I'm going to take some of them home because they were absolutely delicious. But what I'm going to do is, rather than pull them out, I'm going to do the Charles Dowding method. Leave the roots in because that's good for the soil, and then clear this bit apart from, as I said, this edge, which I'm letting dry out for seed for next year. That's the plan anyway. That's all those out. A couple I missed. Right, where's the basket? And add these. I think some of these are a little bit yellow, so I think maybe we'll see what they're like, but it means they're a bit mature. So maybe I'll try and dry them at home, but yeah, not a bad little harvest from these. Right, let's just gather this up together. And we'll can put it all on the compost heap. Actually, I've got something on the compost heap I want to show you. It was a bit of a surprise, but let's have a look. Let's just throw that in there, spread that out a bit. Yeah, but look in the corner. What's that? Can you tell me? It's a dahlia. It must have been a tuber, which I thought I'd had it, but yeah, it's growing in the compost heap. So let me know in the comments, shall I leave it or shall I dig it out and plant it? Might be fun to have a dahlia in the compost heap. I found this rake in just in a pile of old metal scrap somewhere, I can't remember, recently, and all the fork bits on the end were all bent straight, so I just bent them back and got myself a new rake. So next thing, yeah, I want to go and get some of these beans, some of these lovely French beans. I think they're Mystique, but they're an extraordinary colour and they're doing so well this year. Look at them all, absolutely beautiful. What are these, about 15 centimetres long, and yeah, not dried out too much or crooked or anything. So I'm going to get on and harvest a load of these because I think leave them much longer and they'll start to go over. You want to get them when they're nice and straight and you can't really see the beans in them. So as soon as you start seeing the beans and they start going all swollen, then they suddenly get a bit tough. But yeah, look at the colours on them, aren't they fantastic? Beautiful. Right, I'm going to get on and harvest these. I'll get back to you in a minute. Picked these few bushes, but look at these beans, aren't they fabulous? Absolutely gorgeous, wonderful colour, and yeah, so many of them. I've picked these few bushes here, these few plants here, and now I'm just going to take these over and pick some that are down on this. But look at them, aren't they fantastic? You see that? Look at that, an amazing bean. And it's still got lots of little flowers to come all over here. And that's the thing about these French beans. If you keep picking them so that they don't mature on the plant, then the plant will just keep flowering and keep producing more beans, to a limit obviously, but you will get like a second flush. So if I'd left all these beans on here to mature now, these plants would have sort of finished. But by constantly picking them, you'll keep getting more flowers and more beans, and that's the great thing about it. So what I want to do is go through all of these and just pick off everything that I can, apart from the flowers. Oops. Yeah, pick all of these off, and then I think what we're going to do is going to have a look at these Hurst green shaft, because they're really disappointing because of the pheasants, but they should have been up here by now. But yeah, they've begun to flower and they've begun to produce some peas, so I'll have a rummage around there and get some of those in a minute. Right, I've just been actually picked all the beans, trimming back all the fennel, which is, I've just left in the ground actually. There's no fennel bulbs on it at all, just left it on for the insects and so on. But yeah, I was going to chuck it on the compost, but then I thought, no, why don't we just lay it as a mulch on the ground? The seeds aren't mature or anything, so I thought I'd just chop it up. Now, I've seen Hugh do this. I'll put a link to his site on the screen now. I think he calls it chop and drop, which is a great name. But yeah, so I'm just chopping that and I'll leave it as a mulch around the bottom of the purple globe artichokes. But yeah, these are the beans. Let me just show you. Really pleased with these. These have done really well this year, and there's at least another 1 or 2 crops to come off it. But yeah, look at all of those. Just extraordinary. The other interesting thing about these, if you don't know, which you probably do, but yeah, they're purple now, which is kind of weird, isn't it? You know, purple veg, purple beans. But when you cook them, when you steam them or whatever you do with them, they go green. And so when you put them on the plate, they're actually green, which in a way is kind of a shame, but I think also quite good, because I know my kids, purple's kind of weird, isn't it? Anyway, right, so that's the beans. They're all picked for the moment, and I think probably in a week or 2 there'll be another crop to have there. Let's go and see what peas we can find, shall we? Okay, let's see what we've got down here. I think these were particularly mauled by the pheasant. But it looks like, you know, we've got 1 or 2, so I shall go through all of these, harvest what we can, because I think some I looked at the other day were beginning to dry out, and the pods sort of dry out. They're sort of going over, aren't they? So I need to rummage through and get these as soon as possible. So there's a few. I shall get on and pick these and show you what we've got at the end of it. I mean, look at them, they're tiny, they're rubbish compared to last year. So not too bad, just a few little peas. They're a bit disappointing at the moment, which is a shame really, but I think they're just maybe just not ready yet. But really, as I say, they should be up the top here. You can see they're really quite flat still, and you can sort of see through them, almost like mange too really. You could probably, yeah, just eat these. Nice, tender, but yeah, this is what I really want. Some sort of ripe peas, rather than eating all the eating the pods. So I can pop it open without squashing them all. So yeah, they're quite nice. They're sort of like mini peas, aren't they? Like baby peas. So very juicy. Really sweet, juicy, delicious, amazing. Anyway, they're not quite ripe yet. Not quite ready. I should think probably in a week or 2, maybe these will be fine. Right, put all the netting back on. I think, have you seen all these flowers? Aren't they beautiful? All these sunflowers and things. I'll bring you over and we'll have a little look, because it's really important, isn't it, to ensure that you attract lots of bees and pollinators to your allotment. And that's why I like to have a flower bed and flowers around the allotment. I don't know if you do, but yeah, look at this Bonariensis. Aren't they gorgeous? The dahlias are coming slowly. Hollyhock, looks like it's being nibbled to death by something. It always gets rust when I grow hollyhocks, so I've sort of given up with them a little bit. It's sort of a stray straggler one. But yeah, these lovely Californian poppies, yeah, aren't they beautiful? You can see actually that these are the little flower buds that are going to open, turn into the flowers. But the difference is these are the seed pods. They're much sharper and spikier. Not sharper, spiky. I mean, they're sort of tall and thin. But yeah, you can see these are going to be the seed pods. So you can leave these on, or what I think is a good thing to do is to snip these off about as you see them, sort of deadhead them, and then that encourages them to flower again. And then the last lot of flowers, you can leave the seed heads obviously to self-pollinate, self-perpetuate and sow seeds for next year. But yeah, aren't they gorgeous? And this gypsophila, look at that. if you can really see it. It's so fine. It hasn't flowered yet, but it's almost there. There's sort of clouds of gypsophila. And these lovely sort of miniature sunflowers, they're really good for the bees. I've seen bees on here with the pollen, but they're quite nice because they're going to have multiple flower heads. So I'll have a couple of them before we go home. But I think I want to go and get some kale. So we'll have a little rummage in here, harvest some kale. Let's take this stone off. Netting's doing a wonderful job this year, keeping the butterflies off. There we go. Right, have that one. This poor plant on the edge gets all the attention. It's losing all its leaves faster than all the others because it's so easy to get to. Look at them, isn't they? Lovely leaves. Right, some off this one. Wonderful. Right. I think that should do. Big handful. In absolutely prime condition. There's hardly anything wrong with them. Beautiful. Right, let's put them over here with the rest of that. That on there. What else can we harvest? Not sure actually. I think that's more or less it. So I was just going to have a quick look in the seed box, see if we could sow some seeds. I think the leeks will just take too long, but I did just want to have a look in here and see if there was anything, according to my record book, see if there's anything that I can be sowing at this time of year. I don't know if you've seen this. This is a record book I produce and sell on my website. But yeah, at the front here, I've got listing all the seeds I have in my seed box. And so I can just look down July, because I pre-marked them off in the winter when I had nothing better to do. And I can see that I can still be sowing French bean mystique. I don't think I've got any of those left. I've got burpees, golden beetroot. I can be sowing that. Basil Greek, I've got that growing in the polytunnel. Cabbage, Chinese cabbage, that could go in. I've got some seeds somewhere for that. Anyway, I've got all these. I can just go through quickly through July and see what it is I want to plant out. But yeah, it's proving great fun. Have you seen it? All the plant and row spacing guides for your plants. And I've got all my plants where I'm growing them and so on and so forth. This is the church allotment. This is the home allotment. I've still got a couple of these to fill out actually. And the greenhouse. And these are the beds. Oh, sorry, greenhouse, that's the polytunnel. That's what's growing in the greenhouse. Perennial vegetables. I could do with getting a few more of those, I think, and a few more herbs. I've got some more grapes to go out, and they've got to come in up here at some point. Soft fruit trees, and then my tasks, which I can be doing now. This works for northern and southern hemisphere, depending on where you are. And then we've got all my when I'm sowing things and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm going to look through that, get some seeds and hopefully get some stuff into this bed, I think. Anyway, I might save that for the next video. I think done enough today. I need to get home and have some lunch. Okay, till next time, I'll see you soon. Bye for now.